Good afternoon, everyone. It's Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Today we're going to be talking about arugula and heart health. This is what arugula looks like. Its Latin name is Arugula sativa. It's a green leafy plant. It has a peppery taste to it. It belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, which includes things like broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Its medicinal use dates back to the Roman times in Europe, and the medicinal properties are attributed to the leaves and seeds. It's important to understand that these different herbs have different properties based on what you're actually using. You can look at the leaves, the stem, the root, the rhizome, the fruit, the seeds. Each one of these have very, very different properties. When we look at arugula, we're looking at the leaves as well as the seeds of it. Cardiovascular system is composed of your heart, your blood vessels, and blood. And by the way, blood is not just red blood cells. It also includes white blood cells. When your heart pumps, it's carrying across your body oxygen, but it's also carrying immune support. That's what the white blood cells. Let's look a little bit closer. So here, the arteries are bringing in fresh oxygenated blood. Your capillaries are the smaller blood vessels that deliver the nutrients and oxygen to the tissues and cell, and then they remove the waste back through your veins and it takes it out. If you look at the structure, the inside layer of the arteries and the veins is called the tunica intima, and that consists of a lining of cells known as the endothelial cells, which provides frictionless pathway for the movement of blood. So we're going to be focusing on the capillaries. So arugula has about 48 clinical trials, but only about 256 research articles. So it's an emerging area of research. People have been researching it over the last 50 years. You can see this graph here. It's been in the last 4 years where lots of research have been conducted on it. Many of you know that the approach we take here in our talks is we use this technology called CytoSolve. You can go learn more about it at cytosolve.com. It's one of my inventions that came out of my PhD work. And CytoSolve allows us to look at all the body of scientific knowledge, extract from it the molecular pathways. So in this case, the molecular mechanisms we're going to look at is arugula's effects on cardiovascular health. The approach that we take is a systems approach. And what systems approach teaches us is that we look at the interconnection. So in your body, when you take something arugula or you eat stuff, food is actually medicine. It's composed of many, many different natural compounds. Those natural compounds go affect your body in different ways, right? You may have different genetics, epigenetics, but fundamentally they affect molecular reactions in your body. And today we're going to look at the mechanisms of cardiovascular health. And just to let you know, in 2007 is when I created CytoSolve. After 4 or 5 years of my PhD work, we wrote a lot of papers about it. But more importantly, for the last many years, we've been helping a lot of manufacturers. People make supplements, the smart guys who really want to figure out, go beyond snake oil to figure out what works. We've helped them model all sorts of different biomolecular phenomenon. In the last couple of years, we actually said, hey, we have all these mathematical models. Why don't we really see if we can build some new products that really apply system science? So that resulted in us about a year ago, where we applied system science to really discover and validate a combination of compounds that have a profound influence on really affecting pain and discomfort. So we're just integrating thousands of scientific papers over 4 decades that came from 69 research institutions. It's one of our new products, but it's called MV25. This formula has been optimized using all this powerful mathematics. No animals were killed in this to figure out the right combinations.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids. Then I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand. Very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days, the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
By the way, all the proceeds go to support our research and our movement. If you go to vashiva.com, right on the shop, you'll click there, or you can go right to mv25.life, either way. And then from there, you can click on the bottle and you can order. If you buy 6 bottles, you get 6 bottles for free. Please take advantage of it because first of all, it's going to help you. It's going to help our movement, and it really supports the fact that we want to take science-based approaches to natural products. When we look at arugula consists of flavonoids, phytosterols, vitamins, fatty acids, and triterpenes. So what are the biological effects of arugula? Well, first of all, protects your stomach, gastroprotective, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-hyperlipidemic, which means it breaks down fat, anti-platelet, vasorelaxing, immunomodulation. So it modulates the immune system. It's a vasorelaxer. So we're going to focus on the heart aspects of it. We could do a whole talk on the immune aspects. So these are the biological effects. But what are the health benefits? Protects your heart, hypertension, arteriosclerosis, coronary heart disease. It also protects your gut, gastric ulcers, infections, and diabetes. One of the most profound molecules that was discovered is something called nitric oxide. It's a potent vasodilator. It helps maintain blood pressure. It's anti-arthrogenic. Now, how is nitric oxide generated? Well, there's an enzyme called eNOS, endothelial nitric oxide synthase, ENOS, and that catalyzes arginine. So arginine is a fuel. This is the catalyst. And when this gets catalyzed, you get nitric oxide. So here we're looking at one little capillary here. So the surface of the capillaries are made up of these cells. And on that cell is a little Christmas tree. And when blood flows, this Christmas tree structure known as a glycocalyx moves. And when that moves from the mechanical force, it initiates a conversion of L-arginine in the presence of the enzyme eNOS to nitric oxide. So what are the effects of arugula on the cardiovascular system? First of all, we're going to look at 3 aspects of arugula. First of all, anti-hypertensive, which means it lowers blood pressure. Anti-diabetic effect. Anti-thrombotic effect, which means you reduce blood clots. So let's look at anti-hypertensive effect. So by the way, here's one of those chemicals in arugula known as ereucin, E-R-U-C-I-N. That's the structure. Now, ereucin in arugula is a donor of hydrogen sulfide. So what happens is ereucin donates, it gives up H2S, okay, hydrogen sulfide. And hydrogen sulfide, which is part of ereucin, like nitric oxide, is also a known vasodilator. So what H2S does, it activates enzyme soluble guanylyl cyclase. So that's SGC. So H2S activates this enzyme, SGC. So what does SGC do? SGC converts GTP to cGMP in the smooth muscle cells surrounding the blood vessel cells, leading to vasorelaxation, which promotes anti-hypertensive effect in the blood cells. The other effect arugula has, it has an anti-diabetic effect. Now, endothelial dysfunction, which is those cells along those arteries, which means they stop working as well, is caused by oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is induced by superoxide and hydrogen peroxide in the endothelial cells. So in arugula, there are these chemicals PEITC, butyl-ITC, and SFN. These 3 chemicals increase the level of NRF2. NRF2 promotes anti-oxidizing enzymes, superoxide dismutase and catalase. Now, what's really great about these 2 enzymes is they stop superoxide and they stop hydrogen peroxide. The key takeaway here is diabetes is directly related to your cardiovascular system. You have good endothelial function, it's going to have an anti-diabetic effect. The third thing we want to look at when it comes to arugula is arugula also has camphorol, quercetin, isohamnetin. These 3 chemicals are important because these 3 chemicals stop NF-kappa beta. What is NF-kappa beta? Where under inflammatory conditions, NF-kappa beta increases inflammatory cytokines like thromboxane and IL-1 beta and CCL5 and TGF-1 beta. These aren't good chemicals, and these inflammatory cytokines promote activation of platelets, and this leads to platelet aggregation, which leads to blood clot formation. And arugula, the 3 chemicals, camphorol, quercetin, and isohamnetin, block NF-kappa beta. That means anti-thrombotic, which means anti-blood clot effect. So you can see when you look at across these, there are 3 synergistic effects that arugula has: anti-hypertension, anti-diabetic, and anti-thrombotic. There's another way that you can also look at arugula, or for that matter, any food, but you can take a systems or an engineering systems approach. When you look at arugula, arugula increases transport, which means movement in your body. It stabilizes pitta or conversion, which means it supports your digestion. It stabilizes, it calms it. And arugula also stabilizes storage, which means it makes sure you're not putting on weight, right? Storage, if you have too much weight, conversion is digestion. You don't want to have heartburn, those kind of things. But that's from an Eastern approach. Now, the issue is how much should you be taking? Again, this is not a medical show. This is a educational program. But if you look at the science that's out there, for example, for anti-thrombosis effect, which is anti-blood clot effect, the work of Fuentes et al. In 2018 says you need about 200 milligrams per kilogram. That's of extract per day. If you go to the supplement store, you can find out extracts, but you need 200 milligrams per kilogram extract per day. Now, arugula extracts can also be used for anti-ulcer effects. And that's Alcosume in 2009, where they found about, if you have, so it's about double this, 500 milligrams of kilogram per extract per day, anti-ulcer effects. And for, remember, one of the chemicals in arugula is SFN from arugula for diabetes. And this says about 0.1 to 0.5 milligrams per kilogram per day from the work of Bai et al. In 2019 recent work. So in conclusion, the key takeaways here on arugula. Arugula is a medicinal plant with several benefits to cardiovascular health we just covered. The compound areucin prevents hypertension by releasing a vasodilator called hydrogen sulfide, H2S. That's one important takeaway that you just learned. Second thing is arugula promotes upregulation of antioxidant enzymes that mitigate diabetes by downregulating endothelial dysfunction caused by oxidative stress. Simply put, arugula upregulates antioxidants which support endothelial function. Third, anti-inflammatory properties of arugula. Arugula has these compounds that prevent blood clots by downregulating pro-inflammatory cytokines and platelet aggregation. So there you go. Arugula on cardiovascular health. Thank you, everyone. Be well, be the light. Thank you.